Hey, how are you, Metal Chad? Today I'm going to be doing you a Road to 56 review. It's my favorite mod. I'm going to give you the pros and cons. So, firstly, I'm going to do the pros. And what I have to give you first is a list of everything that's good with this mod, which is basically every single thing I can do. So, first of all, the single best thing are the focus trees. I mean, this is just Jeremy's focus tree. This is Jeremy's, who already has a custom focus tree. They didn't have to do any of this. But they have this entire spear right here, which gives you buffs. Then they have your, where you do Rhineland, you get more territory. I mean, look at all these focuses. All of these. You have naval stuff over here. And then this is your entire industrial focus tree. It's like you do this, you would do all these focuses in the default tree. That's just Germany. I mean, and there's only a select few countries that use vanilla focus trees. Like, it's only because they have the new ones, like the UK, Spain, all those countries, right? The new DLCs. But Italy's focus tree, they have a terrible focus tree. But I mean, look at this. This looks like the size of the entire vanilla focus tree. And then you have this, and you have even more over here. It's so well done, and it's also so well balanced. I cannot express to you how well it's done. And also they have, like, here's Romania's focus tree. They haven't really changed too much, but you know, they have some things right here, like split texture lock here. They change the way some things look, and they just buff certain things to be buffed. Like, for instance, they add more oil, and you get claims. And you just get more. You also get these buffs, more manpower. So you have more of a point to do Preserve for Romania. And then to slow down fighter twos, there's air superiority to slow it down. And then look at Russia's focus tree, another one. This thing's insane. But this is like, this little Russia's tree looks like just vanilla. Then you have all this, which gives you stall and stuff. And then you can switch. And you can still be OP. You can switch to any ideology, and it's all fair and balanced. It's crazy. And then another thing I can show you is that this is more minor, but with the added thing, it's 4 XP, which is just so much more well balanced. And also, they have militarized zones that are more accurate and more to place, like here. And then they also have more tiles. So let's say you go construction. Let's just look. In vanilla, th these are both one tile. These are both one tile. This doesn't even exist. It's just that. These are, and they're pretty much the same, but there's just a lot more spread out. Like, let's look at Belgium. So this is what vanilla Belgium looks like, but you also have this. It's a lot more fair like that. And there's just so many examples of this tiles being more fairly buffed and stuff like that. And just imagine that any bugs are just fixed. Production's pretty good. And then political advisors are much more fair. Like, you can't have 2 silent workhorses as Germany anymore. And they also give you national characters, which can buff you in certain ways or take away stuff. It's really optional. You know, it's not like it's not too much. They give more value to political power, and then they also just they make decisions. There's so many countries that have decisions and stuff like that. Like, for instance, I don't know. Let's go into observer mode. Let's look at Brazil. All right. Let's take over Brazil. All right. Let's just look. Let's just look at decisions. So you got all these resources, fight the rural elites, and you just have, and as the game progresses, you get so many more. And also, they change the way resources are to make them more fair and balanced. Like, Germany doesn't have just basically infinite steel like they would historically. Sweden's more buff. Sweden's actually very, very good for Road to 56. And the game's still balanced. It's not like one side is over tilted. And those are really all the benefits. There's nothing wrong. It still feels like you're playing vanilla. It's just enhanced. It feels like the game should be played. Oh, but besides that, the second greatest thing is industry, or not industry, your focuses. You have this entire tree. I mean, these are all buffs. You can get mice, consumer goods, army buffs, navy buffs, air buffs, and then let's just look at guns. Let's look at all this. This is crazy. You have all these equipment that gives you more buffs. Then you have planet-specific equipment, so you can get winter stuff or you get desert stuff, and they just buff you. They're just better. Special forces, you also have shock troops. No, they're vanilla, and they also make these a little bit more beneficial, or just a little bit more buffed. Naval's the same. There's nothing to change in Navy. And then you look at tanks. This is the tanks page. It's just they level out things that are more fair, kind of keeps it the same. And then they also have to add a whole new tank. Okay, so another benefit I remembered about is that countries that don't even exist, like Armenia, you can't see it now, but I will right now. I'm gonna prompt you a picture of their focus tree. This country doesn't even exist, but they have a focus tree. It's just insane. Moss tanks and they're just crazy, and they also have more armored vehicles and stuff like that. Air doctrine and planes are the same. Actually, the planes are different. To research like carrier stuff is actually harder, which it is actually a con, which I'll explain later. But those are all the pros of Road to 56. So now to the cons. So the first con is if you're playing single player, and you need to turn off not historical AI, which I always like to do. Except the thing that always happens, it like never fails. Germany will get Austria, and then they come down to Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia says no, and then you go to war, and then the World War II starts, and the game kind of becomes cancer. But if you're playing someone more outside of it, it's a lot more fun. That's one major debuff, and another one is another con that you're gonna have to deal with is that some countries just have big debuffs. Like look at Brazil. Look at all this that you start out with that you shouldn't start out with. But the focus tree does balance it out. So one major thing is just countries that are more in depth, like Honduras. You have Banana Republic, which is a debuff, although they have a custom focus tree. So there's a lot of examples of countries having custom focus trees, but they start receiving big debuffs and stuff like that. And there's some like I don't like playing Canada or South Africa. It just feels like they're just more debuffed, and the UK is more likely just to cuck you and more able to hold on. But realistically, Road to 56, that's like the only issue. And I wouldn't even call the debuffs an issue, because they're just most of the time beneficial. And colonization is just better overall. Like for instance, Iceland is an independent, but it's a colony, and they have a focus tree, which is just great. I mean, Iceland's focus tree. Alright, thanks boys for watching. I highly recommend you download this mod. I'll put the link to it on Steam in the description. Although it doesn't really work that well to download things online, so I recommend just downloading it off Steam. Just type in go to Hearts of Iron 4 and type in Road to 56. But thank you for watching, and I really hope you enjoy this video. And have yourself a day, boys.